The day has finally come where I am redoing the wardrobe. I'm so excited. I'm going to give you a quick tour of what the wardrobe looks like now, and I'm going to run through the plans that I have for the wardrobe. And because we are still renting this house, I don't want to put too much money into redoing the wardrobe. So it's that fine balance between making it look nice and also not blowing the budget. Let's take a look at the wardrobe. So this is our current wardrobe situation. I kind of cleared out a lot of the clothes that I had. I did like a brutal declutter and I got rid of all the clothes that I don't use, things that I have not worn for like a year, because I really want to add very conscious pieces to my current wardrobe. And this is my side of the wardrobe. As you can see, I've got some hanging stuff, my shoes are at the bottom there, and I've got this shelf. It's like a loose shelf. I just put it there because I need a place to put like my folded clothes. So I've got a shelf there, and just this is kind of like dead hanging space. And this side is my partner's wardrobe, and he's got also his hanging stuff and the shoes at the bottom as well. Yeah, so very basic and very impractical, and it doesn't look nice in any way. So the plan for the outside of the wardrobe is to repaint both the trim and the doors in a similar color to what it is now, because I want to maintain that sort of look that's in the rest of the house. And I'm going to put paneling on the door to give the doors a lot more detail. I'm going to change up these nasty handles for some beautiful sleek modern ones, and I'm going to paint the inside of the door the same color as the outside of the door, which makes sense. The plan is to also keep the shelf, just to keep it a bit budget friendly. I'm going to repaint it. I'm going to paint the internal side of the cupboard in this beautiful warm grey color, change up the hanging rail, remove all the stuff, put 2 timber shelves at the bottom there on adjustable shelving hooks, and I'm going to put some lighting so that it has a beautiful warm glow. And I think those changes are going to make such a big difference to the overall feeling of the wardrobe. I'm very excited. It's small changes, but I honestly think it's going to make a huge impact. This little vignette on my coffee table was actually the inspiration for the color palettes of the wardrobe. I really love that warm grey and black color on the book with that beautiful aged brassy color. The pop of the white from the candle and those gorgeous marble color tones are really what I'm trying to bring into the design of the wardrobe. So this is what the cupboard looks like with all the clothes out. Ooh, it's quite deep actually. There's like this piece of the wardrobe that just extends in there. It's quite like a dead space because you can't really do anything with it. But I'm going to take this pole down, and the internet is actually in here, which is kind of annoying because the NBN connection is there, so I need to work around this in the closet. But look how filthy this wall is. Look at those marks. So the paint should cover all that. Gonna give it a bit of a clean first, and look at this half job here. Oh my gosh, whoever did this closet was in a rush, or I don't know, just didn't see all these marks. Okay, we are in business. Carpets are covered, ready for some dirty work. Oh, and the man of the hour has just stepped in, giving us a little dance before he starts sanding. I can just see the look on his face that this is going to be a very messy job. So the reason why we need to sand the doors down is because there's a lot of flaking paint, chips on the doors and holes from the previous handles that need to be filled and then sanded down to get that beautiful smooth finish, ready for some fresh new paint. We also needed to sand this shelf because it had a very uneven surface, almost like the person that varnished the shelf varnished it without cleaning it first, so stuff was like just stuck in the varnish. We're painting the doors, trim, shelf and walls with 2 coats of primer because we don't really know what paint was used on all these surfaces, and believe me, they were all different types of paints. and don't want to risk our paint not sticking to it. So we're just being extra safe and priming everything. Now I'm going in with the color Quill from Taubmans in a low sheen finish, and I also did 2 coats of this. And at first when I painted it on, I wasn't sure about the color. I felt like it looked a bit too white and not warm enough, but then I knew the lighting was going in and it was going to bring in that warmth that I was after, so I just kept going. Also, how small is this paint roller? So the reason why I'm using this particular roller is because it's got a microfiber texture, so it's supposed to give like a really smooth finish. But this probably took me way longer than expected because the roller was so teeny tiny. And there is the internal cupboard, all painted. It's so satisfying seeing it done. And it honestly already feels like a brand new wardrobe. And what a difference it makes to the wardrobe with that top shelf painted. I marked out the sizing of the paneling on the door with a ruler and a pencil. And with my preggy brain, this honestly took me way longer than it should have. I kept making mistakes. Anyways, the paneling is going to fit on the inside of the pencil marks, and I'm just hoping all my measurements are right and I didn't mess up somewhere. This part was so exciting but a bit nerve-wracking because we were going off my measurements and I was crossing all my fingers and toes that it all worked out, which it did, and with like a minimal amount of waste. We then glued and nailed the panels to the doors, which all fit like absolutely perfectly. I was super chuffed and so freaking relieved that it all worked out because that would have been a very expensive exercise to fix. We then caulked all the corners and edges that had some gaps, let it all dry, and then it's ready for some fresh paint. I put together a quick little finishes palette with the paint color, hardware and timber. There's my little vignette inspo, and this is the result of that. How good does this brass look after we gave it a bit of love by removing some of the old paint that was stuck to it and giving it a bit of a polish? I actually made a last minute decision to swap out the initial light timber planks I was planning on using for these walnut stained timber ones, because after placing all the elements on the coffee table and seeing that walnut peeking through the glass, I really love how the color palette looked with that timber color. Oh my goodness guys, look at these cupboard doors after we've painted them and put on the handles. What a huge difference a bit of paneling, some paint and new handles can make. We installed all the original brass fittings back on the door, sorted the cabling out by using a conduit to neaten it up, and also installed these double slot wall strips for the adjustable shelving brackets. So these are the brackets that just clip into the wall strips and the shelves will sit on the flat end of the bracket. So easy, you just basically clip them in and you can move them higher or lower depending on what you're storing on the shelves. And this is what they look like. I'm going to go ahead and clip in the rest of the brackets and put the timber shelves on. Timber shelves are in, but I hate to say this, but I'm really not loving how they look in the cupboard. They just look too rustic and the planks don't line up, and it's just making it all look quite messy. I'm really bummed that this doesn't look the way I expected it to. Also, there's glue on every single end of the planks, which was covered by the plastic packaging, so I didn't actually notice it until I opened the packaging. My gut feeling is telling me that I need to actually paint the planks the same color as the internal cupboard, just to make it all look cohesive and smart. And honestly, I hate to paint over solid timber, but at this point I feel like that would be the best design outcome. Okay, shelves are painted and it looks so much better, so much more cohesive and smarter. Sometimes the design you plan doesn't always work out, but you know, we make it work. And we've installed the black hanging rail and it all looks so good with that paint color. The next step is installing the lights, and this is going to really bring the design together. I got the Oversidon or Oversidon, I'm not quite sure how to pronounce that. But these are the wardrobe lights from IKEA in the color beige, and with these lights you have to buy the power cable as well as the driver separately. I also got this switch because I wasn't sure whether the sensor on these lights were going to work on my cupboard, so I bought the switch just in case. This is the color, and here is the sensor that faces the cupboard door. And you just need to make sure it's on auto for the sensor to actually work. The lights come with a whole bunch of different mounting fittings, but I'm just going to use the cable management ones for the cable because I'm actually just gonna simplify my life and stick the lights down with double-sided tape. So this cable connects to the lights and the other end of the cable connects to the driver. Then the power cable plugs into the driver and the other end then plugs into a plug point. Okay, sounds simple enough. Wish me luck. So I've stuck the lights down with some double-sided tape, trying to mount them as close as possible to the doors so the sensor can work, and now I just need to cable manage the cables. Moments of truth, guys. Let's see if the sensor actually works. Oh my goodness, it works! I'm so relieved it works. And I tried my best to secure the cables neatly, and excuse the rat's nest down there, but you won't see it because it's kind of hidden, so we're just going to ignore it for now. The color of the lights are so beautiful, so warm. It really just makes the wardrobe feel fancy. Totally worth the money spent. And now it's time to actually dress the wardrobe. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you found it helpful. I hope you found it inspirational to potentially revamp your own wardrobe. Honestly, just some paint and some hardware changes. They don't cost very much at all, but it'll make such a big difference. I'm so glad that the wardrobe is finally done. I'm so sorry it's taking me so long. I've been so sick. I've had such a bad case of sinusitis and I've been so unwell. And I'm also pregnant, so it's just like all these things happening all at once. Anyways, no excuses. It's done now, thank goodness. And my plan is actually to upload a wardrobe organization video as my next video, which shouldn't take that long because it's already done. I might add a couple more things to my current wardrobe that you'll see in the next video. And like I said, I will link everything that I used in the description. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.